See this video. You got to see this video. Last year was the best successful year we had academically in Sledge Group in 18 years.
Woohoo! Good thing.
Academically. And I had some of the toughest, roughest knuckleheads. And the parents and the grandparents. Because a lot of grandparents are raising these kids now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Y'all got me started. That ain't right now.
6 weeks ago, what was your brains of your behavior? And who bought you? And what you thought when she bought you this? No, really, what was you thinking?
I was thinking that, I was kind of nervous because I didn't know what it was about and I didn't know what you guys were talking about. And I was just kind of nervous.
6 weeks ago, what was your brains of your behavior like in school 6 weeks ago? And this ain't rehearsal, but I just saw his eyes looking at me. What was your brains of your behavior like 6 weeks ago?
All my grades were failing.
Say that again.
All my grades were failing.
Now.
All of them. They were all failing.
So, grandmother to snatch her grandson and bring him to us says a whole lot. And I know his grandmother, she can throw that. So, but she didn't throw that. What's your brains like now?
Now, the last report card that I got, I knew the grades I had. I have 4 A+.
Woo! Check this out. Because these Sledge Group ain't do this. Why did they get better?
They got better because after a couple of weeks being in Sledge Group, listening to Mr. Sledge, I started thinking about if I kept the bad behavior, and I'm thinking about my future where I would have been now if I kept up my bad behavior.
My man. What do you mean? Where were you going? Where were you at?
If I would have kept up my bad behavior, I would probably been up in jail or with a long crowd doing bad stuff.
They not big enough for what What's the best thing about Sledge Group you like? And don't see the cursor. What's the best thing?
The best thing is whatever stays in Sledge Group.
Go ahead. See? Go ahead. Go ahead. What happens?
What happens in Sledge Group stays in Sledge Group.
My man.
You know how important that trust is? Because you got a safe haven, you can come and you ain't got to worry about your mother hearing you.
Right.
I'm a state reporter. I have to notify the state of certain things. But these kids know. You can bring me anything, and it won't get back to your mother or grandmother. And we're going to work this out together. I don't care what the time or what's involved. This kid comes from New Rochelle. His grandmother picks him up after school and brings him to the program. I don't even want to talk about the mother and father in his life. But the reality of it is in 6 weeks, he heard something. Imagine visually seeing what Hale Creek looks like or seeing or writing. Imagine if he saw the bathroom you have to use or the toilet that's in the cell.
And with the bunk wing.
Say it again.
And with the bunk wing.
And this kid is spoiled, rotten. I didn't know they suspended kindergartens and first graders in the school system. And I asked the teacher, my daughter, I asked her, what can a kindergarten or first grader do? to get suspended. Daddy, you'd be surprised.
I know when that's expelled.
State ed doesn't matter.
Expelled.
At 5.
What's the best thing about Sledge Group you like? You don't see the person. What's the best thing?
Whatever goes
Go
on.
ahead. See? Go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Write it down. That's the next group. July 18th.
The next young man, ADHD, not him.
July 18th. Write it down. That's the next group. July 18th. What's the best thing in Sledge for you?
Affirmations.
Say that out. Why?
Because it helped me actually think about what I wanted to change myself.
Like,
Like my grades. Because in 7th grade, right, I wasn't doing as well as I was supposed to. But now I am doing really well.
why?
Because I was actually thinking about it. And before I really wasn't. I wasn't there.
Let's give him a round of applause. I want to speak to somebody.
ADHD, special ed, this kid is doing STEM. Got accepted into a STEM program this summer.
Speak up. Why?
And he's only 11.
Wow.
Big boy.
When I first came to high school, I was all my classes I was failing, and my grades were like they were bad. And what I did to fix them was I thought about what would happen if I were to get like that, and what would happen in my future. So I decided to participate more and to study a lot more and to be
Amen. Amen.
I'm a little bit pushy. A little bit pushy.
No, for real, but I want to know why. There are a lot of people in adults especially, right? People say I send my kid to Sledge Group and my kid's better, my kid's changed, my kid's doing great in school. You know that's it. It's not us. It's not us. Something inside he heard. Sitting in group, what goes on in Sledge Group? I can't hear you. What goes on in Sledge Group? But there's something that's said, that's being heard, that makes somebody say, I need to do something different. You thought I was going to say, oh shit, right? No, I need to do something different. Otherwise, this is going to keep happening. I'm curious, man, what made you change? I want to hear it again. Say it again.
What happened, it was on a Wednesday where I heard you guys talking about what will happen if I make this in school, and it had me thinking about, so if I were to not participate and not focus in school, where would I end up? And that's what made me change, because I never end up in a place where people were treating me bad and I got put in jail.
Amen. That's my dude. Yeah, come on, man.
I'm going to stop here, right, because I don't want to hold you guys hostage. This was our closing ceremony, the opening and closing ceremony. We had 17 graduate, and the youngest was going from kindergarten to first grade. Her mother is in the program. Her mother's a teacher, but we give them choice.
Oh, that's what it's all.
That's why it's all the choice, and you have to be able to learn how to speak in front of people.
Right?
And it's real important. I've seen them, man, they can't hear clap out, but that encouragement and that juice, that power, that love goes a long way. And you'd be surprised. Sometimes you just want to see that smile. They know they had a good year. I can't wait to see what the school year is going to look like for a lot of them. I have a young man who, from Africa, went to school in Buffalo, just graduated, he had his master's degree and bachelor's combined. I don't know how he did it in physical therapy, but he's on the video as well. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, Sledge Group. My name is spelled funny. My mother's doing Michael, M-Y-C-H-A-L. It's in your booklets. But follow us, see what we're doing. I post all the videos with all the children. I have to get a media release. That corporate part is in me. I have to get the parent, the guardian to sign off on it. But you can see some of the amazing stuff that we're doing. I want to end this with a parent. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Feed a thought and feed a thought and feed a thought, it becomes an action. All my life I've been told what I couldn't do. But my mindset said, really? I was told I was too small to play high school football. I was told I would never get a football scholarship to college. My parents couldn't afford it. That's how I went to college. I was told I'd never be an international champion. I was told I couldn't start a nonprofit organization. I was told I couldn't be a good father to my 6 daughters and my 2 sons. I was told I would never leave the block. My first time out the country, I was 17 years old. They took me to Venezuela. I kicked butt. Literally kicked butt. I'm surprised my mother let me go. Because she thought karate was violence and it went against the Christian ways. But it opened up a door for me to literally see this world. Phenomenal. So let's connect. What I'm asking for here is not just me do a workshop. I need to connect with you guys. We need to bond. We need to help each other. I see a look on your face. What do you want to ask me? Come on.
No, I have no questions. I'm there with you.
Okay, mentally. Any more questions? Yes, ma'am.
If you're dealing with kids and you're involving the parents, you probably see growth all the way around in that way, right? So when Stu had the question, I thought he was kind of heading in the same direction as I was going, is dealing with men, like the adult men that we deal with, you know, in the justice system or in prisons. That would be one positive way of dealing with them would be they could put their sons in Sledge and then they would also be active participants.
I have a lot of children where their parents are up north. A lot of children where their parents are up north. And I also have this thing about men in the mentoring program. Real men do cry. We were taught they did. Okay. I'm the oldest. I have a brother 11 years younger than me. I had to be about 8 years old. My mother's in the kitchen cooking. I hear her scream. I run in the kitchen. My mother is standing on a chair, screaming at me, "Michael, get the broom and kill that mouse." I'm 8 years old. I never seen my mother scared of anything. I get the broom and I beat that mouse to death. I was put in a man box. I wanted to be on that chair with my mother screaming too. Every man has a man box story. Every man. You can get inside of that box. First experience of fear, but because she was scared, she's my mother, I'm the protector. She's scared of mice and she's scared of spiders. I'm not seen her kill snakes, but she's scared of mice and she's scared of spiders. Right? But we get put in this man box who's supposed to be a certain way and act a certain way and do a certain way, but the reality of it is, not many men will tell you, they want to be on top of that chair screaming too. I don't like mice. So how do you reach them? Yeah, it's a good way. Most men that I know that have been incarcerated, one of the questions I ask them, how could you possibly be a father doing 20 years? 20 years. The kid is 7 when you go in, he's 27 when you come out. If you come out. It goes back to the self-love and self-respect and self-esteem. There's certain things I can't do because of the love I have for Michael Sledge. And then the reality of it is, what am I gonna tell my 6 daughters? My son's a little tough, but what am I gonna tell my 6 daughters? You did what to do what to do what? See, it's one thing being a father or parent and talking. How are you living? How are you walking? What are you doing?
I'll ask questions like crazy. Most people don't. So, I mean, you say, you give the example of, you know, and you're doing 20 years.
Right.
A lot of us are dealing with guys that are doing 20 years, what I like to call the installment plan. 3 years here, out for 2 years there, right? You know, 4 years
Stealing
there.
that stuff.
And I try to impose upon them, once again, like you say, how are you being a parent with that? And many times their value system is messed up where, you know, they're idolized for getting their kids the new Nike thing. You know, I call it daddy dollar bill, you know, as opposed to daddy with the dollars with eyes. So a lot of those places that you probably, depending upon the facility, is those dads that are actually think they're doing good just because they're doing financial, or, you know, I sling because my family needs it. And I asked them, so is your kids eating out of the garbage can right now? Right? If you were to die right now, they would die of starvation? So stop selling yourself on those lies. And that's a lot of things in our community, is that we sell ourselves on that lie. But once again, you made the point of, many of them didn't have the mentor themselves, or was taught the right tools or the right.
I don't allow that to be an excuse. Once you've been informed, you can't say you haven't been. Once you've been informed of the truth, that was that quantum physics. Once I tell you the truth, you can't say you don't know the truth. You can't act like you don't know the truth. It can go on one ear and you can acknowledge it, but the truth is the truth, is the truth, is the truth. And one of the first questions I ask a mentor that's come in, all the years combined, how many years did you do? And that's when I get to 25, 30 years. But you know what I realized? When you come home, what did you do, and what are you coming home to, or what are you calling home? Recently, they changed it. If they did time up here, they gotta go back to their county or their community. But back in the days, you could stay up here. You need to change people, places, and things. You need to change that environment. But most of all, you need to have a mindset to say, I can't do this. Who enjoys taking showers with 10 other men? I was the only
Don't look at me.
Me either. That was good. That was good. Come on, you guys in the
You
back.
don't have that on
got
tape,
questions?
do you?
We got you, baby.
What do you do with a young man or woman who does not respond positively to your mentor?
I learned this at work. I had a boss that would ask me to walk with him. And we would walk around a facility, literally cursing each other. We would wave to people that were working, but we would walk around, all right? The most powerful thing I remember is one day he called me to his office. He closed the door, and he asked me, "Why are you so defiant to my instructions?" And I said to him, "Don't treat people with respect, and the instructions is wrong. The system fails." I says, "I know what your objective is, I know what you're trying to get, but the way you're doing it is totally disrespectful." He didn't know my background martial art wise, he didn't really know me as a man, right? Martial arts, you bow before you fight. Whoever wins or loses, you still bow when it's over. It's respect. You can ask me to get out of that chair, or you can tell me to get out of that chair. I'm gonna respond to how you speak to me and not at me. I think it takes just a little one-on-one alone. I've got a lot accomplished taking people out of crowds for walks. Taking people out of crowds and just asking, "Why are you so defiant?" You'd be surprised what they'll tell you. "I don't like you because you're white. I don't like you because you look younger than me. I don't like you because you work for correction. So I'm not trying to hear anything from you." You know what my job is? And I was playing the music earlier. I plant seeds. I plant seeds. And on 18 years, I can't tell you how my seeds have bloomed and blossomed. I am not an emotional guy. I have been crying more. There's tears of joy, but I've been crying more over watching what the seed has grown into. The question is, how willing are you and how much, what kind of farmer are you? Is the soil good? Probably not in the Department of Correction. Are you fertilizing? Probably a lot in the Department of Correction. Is it getting enough sunlight? Is it getting enough rain? Are you speaking to that plant? Are you playing jazz to that plant or hip hop? It really is planting seeds and nurturing it. And it's not gonna grow overnight. Wife has me on this growing vegetable thing. My job is to water in the backyard, right? Got about 18 different plants. I can't believe how big the stuff is growing on Long Island in my backyard. But I know if I don't water, she's not. See, what she thinks when she digs all that stuff up and plants all that stuff down, that's her job. She sends my grandchildren outside to pull the stuff. She don't even pull it. Her philosophy is, I plant it, I cook it. Your job, Michael, is to water it. Soleil's job is to pull the tomatoes down and pull the cucumbers down. Everybody has a part in this harvest. Everybody has a part in this harvest. And something else you have to look at, it was part of the 8 habits. Am I wasting my time with this young man? But did you have that one-on-one with him? And I know sometimes you're not in a safe environment. Sometimes you might need that CEO in that room when you have that conversation. Or ask him to step outside. But you know what I learned from these young kids? They know when they're failing. They know when they're doing bad. They know right from wrong. I got into a major debate with an Islamic mentor. I'm not Islam, but I do believe in one God. We got in a debate about a kid. He's a guidance counselor in one of the roughest schools in the Bronx. But we got a debate about, does a kid know right from wrong? And of course I said, not all kids. He said, yes they do. Kid touches the oven, you told him it's hot, but the kid keeps touching that oven, he knows that's hot. Now if he keeps touching it, he likes heat. But he definitely knows that oven's hot. The reality of it is, can you reach that young man to get the answer out? Why are you so defiant? What's wrong? What's happening back in his cell? What's happening back at home? What's his background education-wise? You know, sometimes we use words and make everybody understand the words we use when we don't. And I'm talking about simple words. And I'm not just talking about the Department of Correction, I'm talking about in this world. Did I answer your question?
Partially.
Okay.
I think you said it early on that you haven't had a single, not so much failure in the work you do, so you have actually.
Right. How long has that young man been incarcerated?
What's that?
How long has that young man been incarcerated?
Well, I don't have any specific individual in mind.
Okay.
I was just asking for you, if you bring a young man or woman, I'm talking a teenager, into your program, and they walk in there, they don't want any part of it, they don't want anybody to speak to them.
That's every kid that comes to Sledge Group. If I show, and go on Facebook, put in Sledge Group. Every kid on video would say, I don't want to be here. My mother brought me here. My grandma did not want to be here. Let me tell you what really works. If I tell that kid about my failure, he's more willing to talk about his failure. If I tell that kid more about my insecurities, he's more willing to talk about his insecurities. If I tell that kid, the tie comes off. This is a uniform. But if I tell that kid how I feel about wearing red shoes and wearing a tie and getting all dolled up like I'm going to church, that kid can identify. The sagging of the pants is big in the 5 boroughs and no laces in there. We have a conversation, man. Do you realize the police are looking for 5 guys looking like you right now? You got hoodies on and your pants are sagging. All y'all wear the same jeans. All y'all wear the same hood. All y'all wear Timbs. So you volunteered to be arrested. That's simple stuff that needs to be addressed, man. Come on, Ms. Ferguson, I want to hear from this young lady. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I want to hear from you.
Actually, probably the last question.
Last question? Well, no, I gotta get my friend back here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my thing of it is, how do you start the conversation to get kids involved, to feed into your program? What is, like, I know you said you gotta talk to the person, you need to know the person, but what is your first entry to say, I wanna help you?
I think it's not what we say, I think it's what we do. When you sit in that circle, whether it's a young lady or a young man, you feel the love, you feel the concern of adults. We've been very successful with word of mouth. Kids bring me other kids. Parents talk to parents and grandparents talk to grandparents, and the doors get filled up. Last night we had 17 new kids show up. Programs are sending their kids to us now. Again, because it's free. They come in with the counselors with them. But I think what keeps them coming is what they feel in that circle. You know, we can go all in on them, or we can just ask them simple questions like, you know, really, what's going on with you? You know, the suspension rate in the 5 boroughs is high. Children are getting suspended every year, which affects the criminal record. Prisons are being built. I don't have to have this conversation. But the reality of it is that I'm really concerned with is when I ask a young man, so you got left back 3 times? And you're in the 7th grade? Do you realize instead of doing 12 years of school, you gotta do 15 years of school? What? Every year you got left back, you gotta make that year up. So the more you keep getting left back, the more time you gotta get in school. You can say you hate school, right? It sounds like you're setting yourself up. But sometimes it's just a simple revelation of what you're doing is not working. And that's my favorite line. Your blood, how's that working out for you? You do stick-ups? How's that working out for you? Biggest drug, K2. You're smoking K2 every day. How's that working out for you? You smell like weed. You can't remember anything. You don't even know how to get home because you smell like a Sledge Group. How's that working out for you? Let them tell you. Again, I'm not talking to them. I'm talking at them. I'm talking to them. And you know I'm coming to you in a loving and caring way most of the time. I'm the rough guy. I got some nice soft mentors that talk nice and soft. That's not me. I'm gonna go right in your face and right in your throat and ask you questions that nobody ever asked you in life. You got 4 kids and 4 baby mamas, and you don't have you can't even buy them diapers, Pampers. You know Similac went up. I hope everybody's being breastfed. Because you broke. Simple stuff. Come on, handsome, and then we go.
No, I was just going to add that, that approach of pulling them aside and talking to them works really well, because I started working at the prison 7 years ago, and I was on probation for 3 years, and I had a supervisor that had, for whatever reason, he has a lot of anxiety, a lot of issues, but he would come into my room and stir the whole room up, walk out, and then come up to me and say, you need to write this guy up. So he kept doing it, and there wasn't much I could do because I was on probation, and I just had to follow his orders. So I came up with the idea, okay, I'll do it. So I think I wrote, I don't know, maybe 20 tickets in a year or more. 1 month, I think I wrote 80. One time I wrote 2 guys up back to back. So he finally got a call from the depth of security and said, okay, what's going on in Murtaugh's room? And he came back to me and said, oh, we got to do something, because he was, he had issues or whatever. So after I got off probation, I finally started being able to run the room the way I wanted to run it. And I did exactly what you did. I'd walk up to the guy and I'd say, hey, what's going on? And then I'd say, hey, come out here for a second, let's have a talk. And since then, I write maybe 1 or 2 tickets a year.
It's a big difference with communication. I don't think we do it enough. I think about work relationships, because people don't like like me and I don't like them. I need to have a conversation with them. Like, what is it about me that you really don't like? Like, you don't know me. You really don't. You see me for 8 hours, 10 hours a day, but you don't know who I am. You have no clue what I do outside of here. How hard is that to have the conversation? I've been married for a pretty long time. All right? If we don't communicate, we're in trouble. And I'm a good guy to shut down in a minute. Just, nobody's in the house but me. The house is full of people. But if I don't sit down and have a conversation, you know what the hardest thing I think it is for men to say? You hurt my feelings.
Oh, this was what I'm sorry.
You hurt my feelings. I'm talking as a parent now, not as a CEO of Sledge Group. As a parent, Deborah, you hurt my feelings what you said in front of the kids. Michael, it was true. It still hurt my feelings. Is that really for our children again? That's no fucking. Normally, what's wrong with you? Nothing. What's wrong with you? Nothing. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Come on.
Good. Regular.
Mr. Sledge?
Yes.
I didn't realize it was 4:30.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
This is my
Thank you.
sergeant.
Thank you.